Well, the Douglas Garland triple murder trial started this week. It's getting a lot of media coverage, and many of the details are very gruesome. So what do you do when you have the news on and your children start asking questions? Here to help us negotiate this difficult terrain is child psychiatrist Dr. Monique Jericho. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. This just happened to me this weekend. I had the news on, I was making supper, and my 7- and 8-year-old were both like, what did we just hear? Mom, what are they talking about? What happened to this little boy? How do we even start this conversation?
Yeah, well, the unfortunate reality is that we live in a world where scary things happen.
Right.
And so there's no lack of scary things that our children might be exposed to.
Right.
So one of the first things we can start thinking about when an event like this comes up is, what are our children being exposed to? And do we want to start controlling that a little bit? Right. So it's an opportunity to start a dialogue with your partner, or to think deeply within yourself. You know, do I need to have the news on? Is this something I want my kids exposed to? How am I going to control this for them?
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So maybe you have to decide for your own family whether or not you even want to have the news on.
That's right.
When the children are around. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good place to start. Okay, so let's say you do decide you want to move ahead with some exposure to the media. How much detail can you go into, and how much do you actually want to talk to them about?
Right. So, like it or not, no matter how much we control things, our kids are going to be exposed in one way or another, right? Whether they watch it on TV, whether they hear it from a child, you know, in the playground,
right?
It's very likely that our kids are going to come across some of this information, right?
Right.
So, what's important is that we understand what it is for them. So, what are they taking away from this information, and how are they understanding it? Because really, our goal as parents is to help our kids survive and thrive in the world that sometimes does involve, you know, scary stuff.
Right.
Right? And we don't want them to become overwhelmed. So it's important to start by asking them, what are they, you know, what do they think about this? You know, what do they know about this?
So that's a good place to even start. What have you heard? What do you know about this?
Exactly.
Oh, okay. Those are good questions to start.
Yeah.
And then what if you have like a particularly sensitive child? One of my kids I think is very, very sensitive, and I think would be incredibly disturbed by this.
Absolutely. So sensitive kids, and also, you know, being mindful too of your kid's age developmentally, right? You know, whether your child is specifically sensitive, you know, it's really about your own individual child, right? Some children are going to be more likely to kind of take things internally and ruminate them, you know, about these events, right? And worry. Other kids are just going to put it right out there. So you have to be sensitive to your child, and you have to kind of meet them where they're at, as always, right?
Right.
The important thing is to ask, to be open, to be available to have the conversation. You don't need to provide any more detail, right? You really just want to look at what do they understand about this in order to clarify.
Right.
So you want to make sure that they're understanding enough and not going away with misunderstandings that might be making them more afraid.
Okay, right. Is there one thing that they really need to understand? You know, maybe the fact that they're safe, and there's a very good chance this will never happen to them?
Absolutely. So reassurance, right?
Okay.
So clarifying what their understanding is, and then reassuring them, right? About, you know, the likelihood of this happening to them. That can be an approach. Also just reassuring them that, you know, mommy and daddy, whoever the adults are in their life, are there to protect them, and that they're safe. And an important way to convey that too is to approach these topics with a calm, measured style. So as always, checking in with yourself as a parent, and having these conversations when you yourself are ready to have them.
Okay, yes. So not in a frantic moment. We need to be calm and controlled. Okay.
That's right.
Wonderful information. Thank you so much for being here, as always, Dr. Monique Jericho, with some great tips for us.